Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. One of the big topics that we get a lot of questions about as far as working with tribal communities and individuals who have disabilities is about that critical transition period between school, K-12, and college or work and jobs. And so we thought it would be a really great opportunity with this webinar to talk directly to a group of people who are in that capacity right now. So first, we're going to hear from Rene Garcia. He works as a campus coordinator and education coach with tribal community members around northern Arizona. And we also asked him to bring a few students along who can speak directly about that process and what it can be like as a student with disabilities navigating post-secondary education. So I've been working with Rene for about 8 months or so, and it's been such a great collaboration. I think it's really important that individuals who are out there in the communities actually doing the work with the tribal communities. And for me, as many of you know, I'm a PhD candidate in higher education, and that stems from my love of learning, but also from culture. One of the things that my grandmother told me right before I was about to graduate with my bachelor's degree was, she said, you know, people can take anything from you, but no one can take your knowledge. That's one thing that belongs to you, and you get to have it and keep it forever. So it's really important that you take the opportunity and pursue as much knowledge as you can. So that's always stuck with me throughout my life, and I'm very passionate about making sure our tribal youth, all tribal youth, have opportunities for education. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rene.
Hello, everyone. Let me get this slide started. Okay. Sorry about that. A little bit of technical difficulties, but the program that Christy's talking about, and thank you so much for that introduction, Christy, and thank you to the U of A, the Sonoran Center for Disabilities. It's been a great 8 months working with Christy so far and sharing our experiences and collaborating with learning of how can we, provide more opportunities for Native communities. Our program is called Supporting Inclusive Practices in Colleges. And I'm just going to give a quick overview of the program. My name is Rene Garciaguirre. I am the Zone 3 Northeast Arizona Campus Coordinator and Education Coach. I'm also the MPC representative. I work directly with them and their Office of Accessibility and Inclusion for students who are taking classes there, but there's also students who are taking classes at other institutions, tribal colleges such as Navajo Technical University, Diné College, Coconino Community College, NAU. So there's a lot of different institutions that students engage with in my area. So what is SIPSI? SIPSI is a post-secondary transition program supporting and serving students with ID. This is our last year that we are also including the DD category because of our grants. We're grant funded under the TIPSID grant, which is under the U.S. Department of Education's Think College initiative. So with our grant, that grant specifically serves or targets serving people with intellectual disabilities, but we have been serving the DD population in Arizona for since 2020. So we look forward to continue serving the community. This is a little map of the area that we serve, mostly Northeast Arizona, Northern Arizona, I'm sorry. Zone 1 is Flagstaff. which includes NAU and CCC. We have a partnership there directly with FUSD, which is Flagstaff Unified School District. And then Zone 2 is to the west, northwest Arizona, where we have a partnership with Mojave Community College and Kingman Unified School District, as well as the other campuses and centers for Mojave Community College. As you can see, Bullhead, Lake Havasu are also within that region. And then we have Zone 3. This is the area that I serve primarily. You will see in the southern kind of portion of that map is the NPC campuses, but we also work directly with Red Mesa Unified School District with their transition department to work with ESS students there, find some post-secondary plans moving forward after high school. Our mission really is about utilizing the front door first approach to education, teaching students how to access those front door services, how to access academic advising, financial aid, the college application process, the FAFSA application process. What are the resources that the student has available to them, either as a high school student, and if they're not a high school student, maybe within the community. Is there a community college in the area or the institution that the student wants to go to? Getting them connected with those services that will help them get enrolled in scholarships, classes, and as a student as well. Our program really focuses on setting the bar high for success. We want students to definitely go for their passion and what they're interested in. What is the career field that they want to pursue, and helping students throughout the way, step by step, without, haste or trying to push somebody to go full time. It may take a little bit longer than others, or maybe even quicker than others, but we're here to set the bar high for success in terms of what they want to accomplish and the speed and that they want to continue that program. So last bit on SIPC, I'm sorry. Who is eligible for SIPC? These are individuals 18 to 26 with an intellectual disability or developmental disability, living or attending college in Northern Arizona regions, and the Navajo Nation. And we say that because the Navajo Nation also includes New Mexico, parts of Utah as well. And then these are different regions, as we said, the Northwest, the Central, and the Northeast region of SIPC. So now that we're away from what is SIPC, I do want to talk about the approaches that we're actually using in my region in Northeast Arizona, primarily serving the Navajo Nation, but today I'm actually in the White Mountain Apache Reservation here at the White River campus for MPC, where my student Thomas is also in the program. So it's a very wide region. And one of the strategies in kind of utilizing this approach that we call an authentic caring approach is, these are some questions that I kind of ask myself going in. How do you present yourself to the community? This is very important because you have to know where you're at. You have to know the context of the history of the people where you're at and the land itself. You have to know who you are, having knowledge of yourself and where your positionality is coming into a Native community or just any community. That's why I put diverse communities there too, because not only do I roll in Native communities, I also roll in different communities that may be a little bit more conservative, that are not Native communities. So how you present yourself, knowing who you are and where you're at is important. And then to embrace the community. You have to be interested in the community that you're working with. You have to want to ask questions in terms of like, hey, where do I get some food, or where do people hang out, or where are the resources in the community? Where's the Voc Rehab office? Where's the, community college center in the community where I can, build partnerships and get students access to more resources? Another thing that I've asked myself is, who is doing similar work in the community? So within our program, we reach out to OSERS, the Office of Special Education and Rehab Services, and we connect with them and try to understand what are they doing and how can we collaborate with them and build partnership. And another one is the Native American Disability Law Center, where we start that communication of, we're serving the same students, how can we work together to help students get more access to resources? So it's not a competition or anything like that. It's really about building a community with all those around you who are doing the same work that you're doing. Another thing is like trying to understand what are the priorities of the community. So for me specifically, I work at Red Mesa High School. So one of the things was just getting to know the ESS department, which was during COVID when everything was shut down, reaching out to them initially, mostly through email and meeting with them through Zoom. But when it was time for me to be able to go out there, actually going out and meeting with the ESS department, sharing about our program, and sharing with the students too, presenting to the students and trying to be aware that students are looking at what are the resources that colleges have and how can they use them. So that was a good experience, is building that communication, understanding this is what the students need, and then trying to bring those resources there. Be open to different ways of doing things. A lot of the communication is not typical to what you see in, a big city or something like that. And there's cultural reasons behind that. And, you have to be willing and also too, you have to have a certain knowledge of the way that people communicate, the way natives communicate, the different politics of the region. If you have a little bit of knowledge of that, it really helps you be open to what's happening in the present when you're communicating with, say, a principal or a parent or an organization that is deeply rooted within the community. Never assume you know something unless you absolutely do. That's definitely first and foremost. One of the ways that I present myself to the community is that I'm always here to learn. And I have my knowledge that I bring, but I am still coming into the community and I'm looking to be a part of the community, not just some outsider that has something cool that's going to help somebody. I'm there also to engage and to be part of the community, be part of the school, be part of the student circle of support, and learn from the youth. I think one of the greatest things about my job is that I get to talk to youth who inform me of so many cool things that I had no idea of, especially as it relates to technology and gaming and just overall dreams and focuses. And, I'm surprised sometimes, many times, of like, the different things that can be done. And I'm so grateful for my interactions with the youth, because I'm also getting a lot out of those interactions when we're just talking about college, or, what does the student want to do when they grow up? Hearing those responses and how they lead into other things that I didn't know are just so amazing. And I think that's very important. When you're working with youth, you have to be willing to learn from them. I think sometimes adults will take the position of like, I know more, I have more experience and all that. And I think it's very important to kind of like bring yourself down a bit and just like learn from the youth, because you'll learn a lot. Another thing is reaching out to an individual's circle of support and strengthening it through honest communication. What I mean by that, for example, is, whenever I meet with a student, I want to meet with that student's circle of support, whether that's a parents, whether that's a grandma, whether that's an uncle, a cousin, whoever. Like, I want to work with them. I want to introduce myself with them and let them know of like the work that we're trying to do and what are the coaching practices that I'm bringing to help the individual go to college or get into a program. So when you create those kind of circles of support, you know that those individuals can also rely on you too if they have questions. Like parents, I have a couple of parents who their students went away to college, so they have questions that they know that they could text me. Even during the weekend, if I'm available, I'm going to respond. So creating those circles of supports are important. Building trusting relationships with you based on authenticity and empathy. This goes back to like learning from the youth. Be a person, be yourself, be who you are, and the youth will embrace that. I don't know how else to say that. We're not perfect. And I think when you show a little bit of vulnerability, people are more willing to open up to you. And when you have empathy as well, not feeling sorry, but actual feeling someone's pain, that's also big too with building relationships and building that trust. Be willing to coach the process. A lot of times, students get information dumped on them. Just sorry to be blunt, but yes, they get information, and it's good information, it's good resources. But if nobody is there teaching you how to actually access these resources and the steps that you can take, sometimes people get left behind with these resources. So it's important to be willing to coach the process and be willing to be there when you're needed. If you're establishing authentic, relationships with students, you need to be a good friend. You need to be a good coach, a good advisor, a good mentor, and be there when they need you too. So definitely. And be patient when teaching self-advocacy, because it takes time and practice. And this is true. A lot of the things that we work on with my current college students, they already know how to do, but we're still going over them over again just to make sure that they're down packed. And if they ever have any issues with that or don't feel confident about something, it's okay to come back and coach that again and go through it again. And maybe there's some new information that I didn't think of before that we could apply now. So I'm sorry for talking too much. I feel like I talked way too much, but now I want to present the SIPC students that I work with and for them to tell their story in their own words. And the first person on deck, I'm here with him today. We are on the White Mountain Apache land today, Thomas Hamry. He's been a student at Northland Pioneer College since 2022 and a coachee since 2021. So without further ado, Thomas, you can go ahead and talk. And just one moment, everyone. Thomas is just finishing one more thing, and then you will be able to hear his voice.
Hello, my name is Thomas and I'm nonverbal, and I talk with a text-to-speech apps, and I am really glad to be here. And this past few years had been a pleasure to work with all of these wonderful people. My motivation is going through NPC Community College may differ between time to time. Sometimes I don't want to go in great detail. My answer is for myself to the others around me. I feel like what I am doing is I am fixing my health issues to physical and mental because my journey has opened opportunities and things such as tools, events, talking to other people. I will maybe motivated by or get motivated in another person with similar positions. The hardest part of going to back to school is communication. Even with a device, I will get confused when I get asked too many or not enough questions/information, and I get asked the same question multiple times. I feel like the person is trying to make a fool of me or trying to get me to do something I don't want to do. For example, like the telemarketer scam artist trying to get to buy a timeshare. The best part is the opportunities and the people that I meet and learning in general. Not only in the class, but the things that I wouldn't think of, like cultures and the way I give people hope, places. And not to underestimate myself. How I do it is. That's like asking, how do you breathe? We never think about that. But when we are nervous on a date or underwater, we hold our breath for a short time, but in the end, we learn something new. The barriers that we face, disable or not, we will come out alive with sympathy or in a new dilemma that we have to learn from. As humans, we want the most progress alone, but we have to ask for help. Which gives us a small amount of shame to ask help or cry out, but we find another way to create something that immortalizes us. I am just like anyone else. I overcome the blockades in my life for asking for help and dedication. We all have one life, so make the most of it. And I really appreciate everything that everyone has done.
All right, thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you for your story and for sharing that with everyone. The next student is Ubaldo Garcia, and Ubaldo identifies as Navajo in Spanish. He's a student at Coconino Community College since 2020 and a SIPSI coachee since 2020. So without further ado, Ubaldo, thank you for coming on and joining us today.
So the story that I want to tell, like about myself, is like when I first started going to college. Like I was like nervous, and I didn't know how like college was going to be when I first started, and my sister was going to college, and I was just like at home watching her do homework and see how college was going to do for me when I start. And I thought it was going to be like difficult for me because I have like a disability in myself. So, and then when I started it, I was like nervous and scared. And then like after maybe about a week or two into college, I started feeling comfortable about college and how college was going to be. Renee, do I go down the list or?
Yeah, you went through some of your thoughts and ideas in regards to the challenges and barriers related to working and going to college. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, okay. And then like with work and like going to school, I thought it was gonna be hard for me at the same time, like going to school and working. And then I when I first started it, I was I think it's gonna seem hard to me, but I can do it. I just have to put some time aside to do my schoolwork and work. So I just put some time aside, like before work or after work, to like study or like get get to campus a little bit early before class starts, and like study or like see what we're going to do in class. And I and you just have to like just have like put time aside for yourself to do your schoolwork and work.
Ubaldo, because I know we had this conversation yesterday, but could you talk a little bit about how Speech 100 or public speaking helped you as a college student and in your job?
Okay. So and then when I first started, I took a music class, and then I took a speech class, and I was like, at first I wasn't like, when I first like met, like when I came to campus, like I was like scared. I wasn't like talking at all. And I and then I took a speech class, and when when I took it, I think it helped me open up what what with my talking, because I was like, I wasn't talking. I was like shy. And when I took that, I think it really helped me, because like maybe helping me present in like front of class and trying to, it really helped me open up to other people, and then it helped me too, because it helps me at work too. I have to open up to other people, and I have to like talk to other people there at work, and so I can't be like shy or anything. I have to be talkative.
And then one more thing, Ubaldo, because we talked about this yesterday. What advice would you give to youth, Native youth with disabilities, or who identify as having a disability, who want to go to college? What advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them is like, if you want to come to college, you can see if I like the ITS, or like the financial aid people can help you, and see if they can help you with like classes, or you can talk to a mentor that can help you, like maybe like help you register for class, and see what classes you can take, and like your interesting of taking when you're beginning to go to college, when you like first start college, and the and then you can talk to like the disability resource. They have like good like like materials that can help you, like um
Kurzweil?
like that Kurzweil, that if you need like help reading, it can help you read to you, and then if you need like help like with your homework or stuff, you can talk to the tutoring center. They have good like one-on-one help. You can set up an appointment with them and meet with them like two times out of the week.
Anything else you would like to add, Ubaldo?
um no, I don't think so, Rene.
Okay, cool. No worries. I do want to kind of brag about you a little bit, because you are taking that English 101 class this semester, and he's actually doing a very good job in that class. And uh, I'm very proud of Ubaldo, because he's come a long way. We used to kind of not argue, but we would chop it up about English 101. And finally, he took it this semester, and Ubaldo is killing it. I'm so proud of you, Ubaldo. And thank you so much for sharing your story. The next student we have on deck is Antonio Menigotes, who is Navajo, and he is a student at Coconino Community College since 2019. He's actually one of our first students in the program, and he's been with us since the beginning. So he's a coachee since 2019. So thank you for joining us, Antonio, and the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Let me see. My name is Antonio Minigotes. I have a learning disability, or some would say autism. But at first, when I was young, I didn't know anything what was wrong with me. But it was a very hard time just to understand what was being taught to me at a young age. And as soon as my parents found out that I have a learning disability and, or autism, I had very little anger issues. I was always emotional and I was always just shy at times. They would always, keep their guard up on me, and I would always just try to make sure I stay on the right path. And this was like starting when I was back around kindergarten or preschool. And growing up, I was more sociable, more open-minded, and more open-hearted. And I just need to take control of my own emotions, take control of my own thoughts, and my own body. It was a very hard time, growing up, just not paying attention to things or being unsure of the subjects that were being taught to me. And it was a very hard time. I would say that. And when I got into high school, I started to realize that I needed to take my life very seriously and start paying more attention and more self-aware of my surroundings and, more fluent in my speech, be more fluent in my action. And as soon as I heard about the SIPC program my senior year, it was a goal for me to set my own, you know, to be going to college, set my own goals for myself and for my future. And I registered during 2019. And I never really thought I would get this opportunity at a young age because someone once said that I would never get to college or never pass elementary or middle school. But I proved them wrong. And it was like I said, a very hard time growing up. But for right now, I'm glad that I got this opportunity. I'm more wiser, more open-minded, and the lessons that have been taught to me and what I must do with my life. So it's the reason why I chose college, just to get the feeling of it before I get to transfer to any other universities. It's a really good experience. Some were good and some were bad because of my own choices. But I just learned from it, knowing that I will never do it again. But as for now, I am focusing on being a wildland firefighter and being more focused on my future, being present, and just sticking with whatever my gut to whatever it says. And when I was in college, I couldn't really understand some of the topics that were being thrown at me. Many tutoring, many tutors have helped me out with these types of issues. Then I've decided to go ahead and pay more attention to them. It helped me be more. It actually helped me more. My bad. It actually helped me more than the actual professors. I'll say that helped me be more open-eyed, be more successful, and it's helped me with many homework and writing assignments that need to get done. And as for work, it's just hard for me at times because I would just, have these disability concerns. I thought that I would never just maybe just thought it would be like a hard time understanding. But then again, I had to remember that I had to control my own body and try to put my mind to work and focus on the main part that needs to get done. When I was working with construction, with my father and my brothers, they told me things that I need to be doing, and the same thing that goes with my coworkers. They tell me things that need to be done the right way and done as soon as possible. I get help a lot. I ask questions here and there. I try not to ask too many questions because I do not want to make them repeat the same thing over and over again. So then I would just learn, I visualize, and I would just go with my gut and don't think about it. Because if I think about it, it was just going to give me a hard time doing it. But if I don't do it like how they taught me to do it, it won't be done correctly. And I just got to make sure that, when I work, I just got to be putting my education first here. And in the meantime, I go to work on Fridays or sometimes of the days when I don't have classes, or if there's anything going on that day with my professors, if they're feeling sick, if they're feeling like, under the weather type of way, I just go to work. That's all I'll be doing. But it's just mostly Fridays. And with the rest of the week, I just, be more focused on school and making sure that I got to be able to get everything done before I go to work. And, with everything going on right now and with many Indigenous students who have disabilities and who are considering of going to college, I would always tell them just to keep their heads up, always never look down on yourself, and remain a positive attitude. You know, it's going to be hard at times. It's hard to wear a smile, but then again, at the end of the day, we all have a bad day. We all have our bad days, and some things may go right, some things may go wrong. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it in the end. And you know, life is not perfect. You just got to make the best of it, and always got to make sure to keep pushing forward, no matter how hard it gets. Oh, um, yeah, no matter how hard it gets, it's gonna be painful. It's gonna be worth it in the end, like I said. Um, for another advice I would give, it's just starting with the plan. Start with a goal that you want to be able to achieve. When I first started, I didn't know where I was gonna go, and I thought about doing picture photography and making it as my job career. But then again, there was something in the way. I always get asked, how am I going to make the money, or how am I going to start my own business? And I needed the experience, but that was stuck with me for a long time. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a goal. This was the first beginning of my college year. You know, I was young, naive, and big headed at the time. Um, I was always thinking like I could do this, I could do that. But you know, in reality, I couldn't do it without like the teachings and you know the patience. And when I got my first second year, and when I got into my second year of college, you know, I considered going into the wildland firefighting service with the help of my education coach. It wasn't a last minute decision. I did thought about it for a while, and you know, I thought if I was going for the wildland firefighting service, I would have to take these classes in order for me to get comfortable with it. So with the help of Rene, you know, he decided to go ahead and put me in a forestry program. We talked about it for a while, telling me all these benefits, telling me all these steps that need to be taken in order for me to take classes that relate to wildland firefighting. And with that, I'm going to be taking a class that is an introduction to wildland firefighting in the fall. And hopefully next spring, I'll be able to do fire science. So as I said, just make a goal for yourself, set up a plan, write it down on your phone, in your notebook, and just scheduling. And try to schedule it. Please just schedule it because I need to do that as well. You know, have a one-on-one talk with your parents, with your family, talk with your advisor, telling them what you need to do and how can they make that possible for you. Because if you just go from the get-go, you're just gonna get lost. You'll just shoot a bullet and it'll just swerve the other way around. You know, it'll just hit and miss. Otherwise, you're just gonna be lost and confused. So just make a plan, talk with somebody about it, and your final step, you'll be on your way. Thank you. My name is Antonio Minigoats. This is my story. I am from the Navajo Nation, and this is me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonio. Thank you for your stories. Thank you all for your stories. So with that, I have some information there of like how to get connected with our program, SIPC. There's my email there that I respond to emails pretty quickly, usually within 1 to 2 business days. So if you want to email me directly to learn more about the program, please do. But we also have a website and interest form through the QR code. Feel free to use your your phone's camera. It's backwards, and flash it on there. It should come up the little link for it for the QR, and that'll take you straight to the website. On the website, you'll see the interest form as well. It'll be in the top right area. But we are good here. If anyone has any questions or anything they would like to share, please do. You could talk or put it in the chat. We're here to answer any questions. So one thing I saw in the chat is how is SIPC funded? Will the programs be replicated in other areas of Arizona? So we are funded through the U.S. Departments of Education's Think College initiative. They're called TIPSIT programs, and they're actually nationwide. There's TIPSIT programs throughout the country, even as close as Utah and New Mexico, or maybe not New Mexico, I think Colorado for sure. But there's a lot of TIPSIT programs throughout the country, and we're just the one right now currently for Arizona. U of A previously had a TIPSIT program, if I'm not mistaken, but currently in the state of Arizona, we are the only TIPSIT program in Northern Arizona. Our grant is until 2025. Our goal is to reapply for the grant in 2025. And one of the goals that we would like to set for ourselves is being available statewide. So that is something definitely that we're aiming for in the future. Thank you for that question. Another question, do most of the students in SIPSI have eligibility for vocational rehabilitation, either their tribal program or state VR? That's a great question. Yes, we do. Most of our students do have VR services or in the process of getting those set up. I've met students through my partnerships with VR counselors who've, I've reached out to and shared about the program, and they in turn have put me in contact with students that they work with who may need this kind of assistance. So we do work very closely with the VR that's local in Flagstaff. And we do have a partnership with OSERS that we're growing at the moment to help students get more connected within OSERS straight out of high school. For the ones that are looking to get into a job or an employment or a career right away. We kind of serve as like that middleman to kind of get them connected as well, and also just have general knowledge of it so we can present that to the students so they have access to that too. So we are building those collaborations with OSERS as well. And I think there's a question for you, Antonio, if you care to answer, please. What are Antonio's clan? I saw the last name Many Goats, and he's Dene. So just curious. So I don't know if you want to share that, Antonio.
It's fine. My clans are basically just Tabaha National, Lusitano Bachichi, Batani Lashiche, and Odachi Nationale. And I think I have it here on my phone. If y'all don't know, like Navajo, here's what it means. Oh, no, okay. It means Edgewater Clan, Many Goats Clan, Leaf Clan, and Bedwater Clan. That's what it means.
Thank you for sharing, Antonio. Hopefully that helps, Joetta. So here's one by Gail Quackenbush. How many pre-ETS workshops through AZ RSA prepare students prior to graduation? Is there a need to provide these other supports on a consistent basis? From my work in Northern Arizona, there is a need for coaching, for more in-depth coaching, and how do you actually do the process of getting connected with these resources? The resources are there. The problem, in my opinion, from my experience, is that maybe it's not as accessible for everybody as we think it is. And that's where I think we need to kind of dig a little deeper, and that's what we do with our work. We try to dig a little deeper into like what these resources are and explain that in plain language for individuals so they can see it. Is that something that they want to go with and apply for? Once you decide you want to apply for it, how do you apply for it? What do I need? What are the documents that I need? How do I, ask my parents to be on board and help me do this? We're getting questions like that because our program is really based in self-advocacy. And sometimes students with disabilities get brushed to the side in the education system, and sometimes are not always taught how to advocate for themselves and how to ask the questions they really want to ask. So Our job, my job as an education coach, is to make it comfortable for that student and to work with them to give them the tools to ask the questions that they want to ask so they get the resources that they need and want. I hope that kind of answers. Then we got another one, David Jones. Okay, cool. I see your cell there. Thank you. Supporting the Workforce Recruitment Program, Diversity Management Operations Center Disability Program. Thank you so much, David. And Ubaldo, thank you. I know you got to go. Ubaldo's on his way to class. So he was in college, he was on campus. If you all didn't notice, he was in the computer lab. So, he's doing it. He's legit. All of them are, but thank you so much, Ubaldo.
Bye, Rene.
Bye-bye. What is the total number of students enrolled in SIPC? Our numbers are constantly kind of fluctuating. I believe we're in the 80s now, but within my zone alone, there's 18 students that I serve directly. And that is spread out throughout the whole Northeast Arizona zone, from the Four Corners all the way down to White River, down here in Central Arizona on the Apache Reservation. So we're very spread out. Is SIPC available for high school students? Yes, SIPC is available for high school students, primarily in the Northern Arizona region. But that's not to say that we won't talk to other high schools and connect with other high schools and start providing, what we know to other high schools, because we do want to expand statewide. It'd be great if we could expand nationally, but I know in the immediate future, our goal is to expand statewide. So if you're a high school in Arizona and want to talk about SIPC and how we could partner with you, please reach out to me. Or reach out to me through email or through that interest form. We would definitely be willing to talk to you and your school. Thank you for the gratitude, Sakenya. Thank you so much. Sakenya is on our SIPC team. She's the program director. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Gail. Thank you so much, Michael. And then David Jones, did you want to ask your question out loud? You can if you want. I think we got some time.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. Thank you so much. And again, the moving stories, I always find success stories always and truly, and the students that have, you shared and done a remarkable job. And I'm sure there are many that couldn't speak or was in a class, but again, I'm just moved by what I heard. I'm curious, when it comes to the Northern Arizona University, are you guys engaged in the workforce recruitment program? Because it's a great program for post-secondary students looking for opportunities for paid internships. I kind of deal with more the DoD side of the program, but would love to, if you guys aren't or you want to know more about it, please, again, let me know and we can maybe connect, next week or the week after to do that. But my question again is, are you aware of any students engaged within the workforce recruitment program or have applied to it? A lot of people, again, there's a lot of federal programs out there. Just curious if you're aware of it.
Oh, no, sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to, David, sorry, to dodge your question or anything. I think I just didn't understand it. Not that I'm aware of, no. We don't have students who are involved in that program, but we would be interested in learning more about that program and having that as extra resources that we could share with students, definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah, so definitely anytime. Again, you guys, thank you so much for the quick question. I'm always curious. And again, I think I was here like last year something you guys were putting on. Again, just so moved by all the work you guys are doing. And again, thank you so much for, presenting and making this available to all of us.
Yeah, thank you, David. And please reach out to me too. Thank you.
That's awesome. I love to see collaboration because, as Rene mentioned in his presentation, knowing what's available and the resources and how we can share and collaborate is such a key for how we can really reach out and help with the community. So with that, I want to say thank you to Rene and all the youth for their presentations today, and remind everyone we put the evaluation in the chat. So please fill it out, because I do go through and read every comment and all your feedback, and it's so helpful. And I want to thank you for your continued support. And I want to give a shout out to the Arizona Developmental Disability Planning Council for all their support, which makes the webinars possible. And just say thank you to each and every one of you. And let's keep collaborating and keep the conversations going. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.